It's a 3-year project, but because of the efficient methods that the construction company is using, recycling the existing material, reducing the number of movement of some materials, we may gain some time.
Progress report puts Nigeria ahead on Trans-Saharan rail project as Works and Housing Minister leads 6-member nation committee on inspection. Increase surveillance and fortify pipelines to curtail avoidable deaths, Senate charges NNPC.
With David Lyon, one of their own, one of us. Farewell to poverty.
Plus, few days to the Kogi and Bayelsa governorship elections, parties and candidates intensify process of wooing the electorate. Hello, good evening and welcome to NTN Network News. I am Joseph Johnson. Reading with me tonight in Lagos is Dotun Ogoyemi, while Musa Abubakar is standing by in Sokoto. Kemi Akinwande will join us a little later from Ibadan. Well, let's begin with this report on Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who says leaders need to reflect extensively on the Nigerian nation, the economy, politics and all that surround it. This was at a public presentation of a book entitled The Challenges of Good Governance in Nigeria. The book was written in honor of a one-time governor of Osun State and founding chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Chief Bisi Akonde. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Deep reflection, as Vice President Yemi Osinbajo observes, is crucial in political leadership. As the Vice President says, it is the difference between transformational leadership and the banal.
It is the duty of leadership to continue to reflect, to write, to debate. The rigor of our thoughts and ideas and the discipline of execution that is what will lift our people from ignorance and misery to wealth and prosperity.
Good governance in Nigeria.
Gathered at the event are political associates of the honoree and pioneer national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Bisi Akonde, and they are here from across the country with glowing remarks.
We are proud to have a leader whose life symbolizes democracy and good governance. We are proud to have a leader who gives us hope of a better Nigeria.
Good governance as a concept has progressively become a major concern for the success of any development initiative.
I learned a lot working with him.
For it has been the challenges of good governance, or may I say the pursuit of good governance, that compelled the APC forward, that led the people to elect and re-elect our President, Muhammadu Buhari.
I had the rare opportunity of coming after Baba as a progressive governor in the state of Osun. And it was not an easy task.
He believed so much in due process, in constitutional due process, is what earns him this type of respect. Any country that fails to plan properly is planning to fail woefully. We therefore need to rethink, to rework our school curricula, retrain our teachers, and rewrite our laws to give higher quality to our education.
Author of the book, Oluseyi Adetami, describes the honoree as a man that has delivered himself to the service of the nation. In Abuja, Jide Onifade, NTN News.
And from the Senate, we hear the senators have urged the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, and its concerned subsidiaries to carry out assessment of the contamination caused by the pipeline explosion of July this year in Kokom Rivers State and Ijegun in Lagos. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo reports that the resolution is sequel to the recommendations by the Senate ad hoc committee that investigated the two incidents.
To pass the appropriation bill 2020 on the 28th of November by the grace of God.
The report of the Senate ad hoc committee of the two pipeline explosions in Rivers and Lagos states was given prominence as Senate suspended its rules to consider it first. Chairman of the committee, Senator Ibrahim Gobir, presented the report, which also recommended that NNPC accounts for 382.2 million naira earmarked for pipeline protection and called for sanctions against organizations, agencies or persons found culpable.
To immediately send the relief materials to the fire incident victims of both communities.
There are instances where some of these criminal gangs come along with firefighting equipment.
They know what to do. Indeed, at that time, we recommended that they should automate their pipeline surveillance. The NNPC needs to explain to our committee, the downstream, the measures they have had in place over the years, whether there is need to review this and even the agreements.
Senator Bima Inagi drew the attention of the Senate to the urgent need for the federal government to make funds available for the completion of the Baro River Port project and for continuous dredging and maintenance of the Niger and Benue rivers.
As well as improving our road network by keeping heavy-duty trailers and trucks off our roads and thereby extending the lifespan of the roads.
The employment that Baro Port will generate, not only for the inhabitants around there, but Nigerians from all nooks and corners of this country.
The necessity to revamp Nigeria's textile industry once again resonated on the floor of the Senate. Senator Kabiri Barkia brought in the motion, which also sought restriction on the importation of foreign textile materials, while the borders continue to remain closed. The legislators passed 12 bills through first reading. These include the National Commission for the Prohibition of Hate Speeches Establishment Bill, sponsored by Senator Sabi Abdullahi, and the Federal University of Agriculture and Technology Funtua Establishment Bill, sponsored by Senator Bello Mandia. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Unko, NTN News.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has urged the Federal Ministry of Mines and Steel Development to provide geological records of gold deposits in Nigeria, being a major source of revenue. This was in response to a motion from Representative Ogene Ego during Tuesday's plenary. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali has more.
The motion elicited comments from House members who noted that prioritizing gold mining in the country will fetch Nigeria the much-needed revenue, as there is an estimated 21.40 tons of gold deposits in Nigeria.
There is a need for us to amend the constitution to bring mining to the concurrent legislative list so that states will have jurisdiction. It will also assist in increasing the revenue generation of this country in such a way that we will not even need to borrow to part-fund the 10 trillion budget as proposed for 2020.
Nigeria, observed the lawmakers, loses more than $9 billion annually to illegal mining and suggested policy review to facilitate investments in the sector. The House, in response to a motion from Representative Makwe Levenus, urged the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing to consider the use of concrete technology in road construction, as it is cost-saving and more durable.
Concrete pavements are produced from the abundant and locally available materials like granite, sand, cement, and water. And therefore, the adoption of this method of construction will have multiplier effects in job creation in the road materials sector.
Other matters adopted as plenary include a call to investigate some federal government social investment programs due to alleged corrupt practices, as moved by Taiwo Lukemi, appeal for assistance to victims of flood disaster in parts of Borno, as moved by Zainab Gimba, and the call from Satome Ahmed for the relocation of Giwa Barracks in Maiduguri to a more suitable location. Meanwhile, the motion requesting the suspension of the directive from Nigeria Customs Service, which stopped the supply of fuel to areas located 20 kilometers to the border, got the support of House members when the Deputy Speaker, Ahmed Idris Wasi, put it to question.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Turning to road infrastructure now, the Trans-Saharan Trans-Saharan roads in Nigeria are doing well. Now that commendation is coming from the Secretary General of the Trans-Saharan Roads Liaison Committee, Ayadi Mohammed, as the Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, led the committee to inspect some ongoing projects. Correspondent tells us a story of how roads are taking over sandy routes in Africa. Stories about how Africans traveled by horses, donkeys and camels through the Trans-Sahara trade route many years ago may be history today, but the decision by African heads of states to transform those routes into highways of vehicles and trucks led to construction of 9 road projects across Africa. What that means is that movements of people and goods through the Trans-Sahara routes is now made easy and faster. The task of completing the route is the reason why members of the Trans-Sahara Road Liaison Committee are in Abuja for the 70th session.
It is more than desirable that we can conceive together a vision, concerted, harmonious, and integrated economic development to maximize our potential.
After the talks in the hall, it was time to see physically. Minister of Works and Housing Babatunde Fashola led the committee to the ongoing rehabilitation of Abuja Kaduna Zaria Kano Dual Carriageway, a 375.9 kilometer road project that is considered as one of the critical components to the Trans-Saharan Highway.
The project is a 3-year project, but because of the efficient methods that the construction company is using, recycling the existing material, reducing the number of movement of some materials, we may gain some time.
The expansion of 5.4 kilometer of Abuja Kefi Expressway and dualization of Kefi Akwanga Lafia Makurdi Road were other roads the 5-member countries visited, as they also build sections from their countries. The committee hopes to achieve a more vibrant African economy, improved cooperation and trade with good road networks. And the need for countermeasures to prevent avoidable death from road crashes has been stressed following reports that more than 1 million people are killed every year. This is the appeal to governments of nations at the National Road Safety Stakeholders Summit, an event to commemorate the 2019 World Day of Remembrance for Road Traffic Victims.
Road crashes are leading causes of death worldwide, with estimated 1.2 million people killed each year. Statistics by the United Nations show that more than 3,400 women and children are killed every day on roads while walking, cycling or driving, with another 20 to 50 million others injured.
The developed countries seem to have been able to contain their own trend, and it came with efforts, which sustain efforts and realizing what needs to be done and doing what they need to do over the years.
It is in recognition of the road crash victims and their families that the United Nations set aside each year to remember the millions of people killed or injured. The event in Abuja this year brought together stakeholders to take stock and chart a way forward on how to reduce road crashes.
Enjoying our citizens to be road safety conscious and to remember the objectives of observing this day.
Theme for this year says that the human life is no vehicle part. That is to say, if a leg is broken, it is broken. If an arm is broken, you cannot replace it.
Instead of improving the number of deaths of victims of road crash, statistics have shown that we have actually increased the number of deaths in the last 10 years.
Statistics are really staggering, and except we have scenarios like this, there is just no way we will know the enormity of what is happening on our roads.
The emotional point of the event was when little Nancy Afolabi led some dignitaries to lay wreaths in remembrance of children who died from road crashes. In Abuja, Austin Anyebe, NT News.
The Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport now has the Migration Information Data Analysis System, MIDAS, for real-time sharing of air travelers' biodata between security agencies. Victor Azu reports that the Abuja airport is only the first of 5 airports to benefit from the project.
Air
travel is common for movement between countries, hence the quest to improve security at Nigeria's airports. The minister's quick steps are an indication of his eagerness to welcome the Migration Information Data Analysis System, MIDAS they call it. It is a system that enables sharing of air travelers' biodata between security agencies. Already deployed to good effect in 14 land borders and 2 seaports in Nigeria, the Danish government seeks to replicate same success at Nigeria's airports.
Systems like MIDAS are essential everywhere in the world in order to be able to control the data of the passengers that you bring on board international flights. So when we realized that this was a need, we stepped in.
The Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport is the first of 5 airports in which the system will be installed, and the Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, understands its implications for internal security.
Just as it is in other advanced nations, it's not possible anymore for a known criminal to get into our country or get out of our country without us identifying such a person and bringing him to check.
This is a revolution, but it's not only for immigration, it is for all law enforcement. And this system will be linked with all the wanted persons globally, with the Interpol and local suspect index.
With MIDAS now at the airports, Nigeria becomes even more unattractive for criminal elements who may want to hide away in the country. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
A bit on defense now. Nigeria has crafted additional memoranda of understanding with relevant local and foreign partners to increase intelligence sharing, capacity and visibility on anticipated threats and better understanding of global security landscape. This was announced at the 2019 Defense Attaches Conference organized by the Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
These are members of the armed forces serving as the nation's defense attaches in different countries. The annual assembly provides a platform for these military diplomats to share ideas, appraise Nigeria's foreign defense relations, and an opportunity to articulate new strategies in intelligence gathering mechanism.
Therefore brings to fore the need for the agency, in conjunction with its sister security agencies, to explore available options at both domestic and international level in addressing contemporary security challenges, which should be in consonance with the federal government effort at ensuring safety, security, and a conducive atmosphere for our citizens.
Though there are different emerging security threats in different parts of the country, the Defense Intelligence Agency knows that it has acquired advanced platforms and upscaled operations to further secure Nigeria and Nigerians.
The President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, has provided the strategic direction and political will for freedom of legitimate action against those who sought to make miserable the lives and livelihoods of law-abiding citizens.
The Nigeria's Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, superintends over about 25 defense attaches in different countries. From the Defense Intelligence Agency in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
This is Network News on the NTA. Still ahead, INEC meets candidates for Kogi State governorship election. Stay with us for details shortly.
Now what is it? Emeka, drive the limousine Bugatti, come inside now. Waiting glow 200 naira recharge card for me.
200 naira. Just recharge 200 naira for one day, and you say fit follow win for the hundreds and hundreds of heavy prizes like a can of pepper, industrial sewing machine, grinding machine, and generator. Glow, my own done better.
My grinder will go win. Now here I go put up. Make hey, make una no go recharge una Glow. I don't win generator. And here, now myself. Oh,
the more you recharge, the more your chance, the better.
Glow Unlimited,
The President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, joins millions of sports-loving Nigerians to welcome the President, International Olympic Committee, IOC, Dr. Thomas Bach, to a 2-day working visit to Nigeria, where he will commission the Anoka Secretariat, amongst other events. Announcer, Engineer Habu Gumel, President, Nigeria Olympic Committee.
Governor Yahaya Bello is evidently a man favored. The multitude of friends, party men and women who gathered to witness the flag-off of the gubernatorial campaign of Governor Yahaya Bello, the brand new Ogano Guata of Ata Igala, and his amiable deputy governor, Chief Edward Onoja, provides a resounding proof. A gathering that has this caliber of people in attendance is indeed a testimony of a man who is well in touch with the appropriate political classes that will further connect Kogi State to the sources of development and prosperity. Today, investors are indicating interest to do business in Kogi State. Kogi is firmly connected to the center that works. The Ajokuta Steel Company is about to witness a dramatic turnaround that will revive the pride and worth of the state. Let's join hands to put Kogi on the national map of development. Vote Yahaya Bello and his deputy, Chief Edward Onoja, a rational choice.
With Airtel Smart Talk and enjoy calls to all networks at a flat rate of 11 kobo per second. 7 naira fee on the first call of the day applies. Dial *315# to join.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
The Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development Africa Youth Day Celebration 2019. Theme: 1 million by 2021. Count me in. The Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Mr. Sunday Dari, invites all Nigerian youths to join him as he launches the FMYSD New Deal for Nigerian youth. You have a chance to be among 1 million young Africans who will benefit from direct opportunities in the areas of education, employment, entrepreneurship, and engagement. Other key attractions include launch of the pocket-sized National Youth Policy (NYP), launch of the National Youth Policy app, panel discussion with leading youth organizations, opportunity for you to be shortlisted for the ministry's work experience program. Date 12th November 2019. Registration starts 9 a.m. Event starts 10 a.m. For more details, visit www.youthandsport.gov.ng and sign up. Announcer, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development.
Helpline Foundation Nigeria and partners present the 3rd Annual African Women Conference AWC 2019, a gathering of experts, institutions, corporate organizations, and individuals promoting the growth, stability, and development of African women, through which various resources available to African women can be channeled towards the sustainable development of the continent.
Keynote speakers: Dame Paul Talin, Ramato Tijani Aliu, Madam Magdala Cooper, Binta Masigarba, Karima Ranim, Ibtisame Azal, Dr. Anissa Nagra, veteran Nollywood actors and actresses.
Theme: Building a Coalition to End Gender Inequality in Africa. Dates 21st to 23rd November 2019. Venue: Kenzi Manara Palace, Marrakesh, Morocco. For participation and inquiries, visit www.africa-womenconference.org or call +234 806 5388 424. AWC, building an Africa where every woman's potential is fully harnessed. Powered by Helpline Foundation Nigeria, Echoes Africa Initiatives New York, International Center for Diplomacy in Morocco.
The Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, cordially invites the general public to the 2019 Abuja Carnival, taking place between 23rd and 25th November 2019. Theme: Culture for Peace. Street Carnival and Opening Ceremony. Saturday, 23rd November 2019. Venue: from Old Parade Ground to Area 1, Abuja. Time: from 8 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Other cultural activities on display are Children's Fiesta at GSS, Area 10, Garki, Abuja. Durbar at Kuje Stadium. Boat Regatta at Jabi Dam. Masquerade Fiesta at Government Day Secondary School, Gogwalada, Traditional Cuisine Fair and Bush Bar at Old Parade Ground, Command Performance and Award Night, as well as Contemporary Music Fiesta at the Old Parade Ground from 23rd to 25th November 2019. Time from 8:30 p.m. till dawn daily. Deaconess Grace Isu Gekpe, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Information and Culture, announcer.
Thanks for staying with us. The All Progressives Congress governorship candidate in Bayelsa State, David Leon, says if he is elected as the next governor, he will reposition the state for better productivity by its citizens. The APC campaign train landed in Yenagoa for the grand finale preparatory to Saturday's governorship election in the state. One after the other, different political groups turned out to show their support for David Leon and the APC. To the national chairman of the APC, Adams Oshomole, the party's commendable performance at the national level stands it in good stead to lead Bayelsa State.
With David Leon, one of their own, one of us, it is farewell to poverty.
Confident of victory, the APC standard-bearer David Leon wants his supporters to conduct themselves peacefully on election day.
Bayelsans, November 16, being elected and sworn in 14 February 2020, Bayelsa will see light.
867,088 eligible voters are expected to turn out for the November 16, 2019 election. And 17 out of the 24 candidates contesting the Kogi governorship election have signed a peace accord and have also agreed to accept the outcome of the election on Saturday, November 16. The candidates and other representatives promised to abide by the agreement during the INEC stakeholders meeting in Lokoja. Charles Alpha reports.
Incumbent Governor Yahaya Bello of the All Progressives Congress APC and candidate of the People's Democratic Party PDP Musa Wada were the notable candidates among the 17 that signed the peace accord in Lokoja. The candidates and representatives of 7 other political parties were not present. The chairman, Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, while speaking on level of preparations, disclosed that the commission is leaving no stone unturned and has since deployed both sensitive and non-sensitive materials to the state and are in good condition going into the election. With the court recently ruling on the lawsuit filed in by the Social Democratic Party governorship candidate Natasha Akpoti and other pending judgment in Kogi, INEC is confident any last-minute judgment by the court will not affect the elections.
The sensitive materials for both the governorship and Kogi West senatorial run elections are ready. As usual, they have been handled by the Central Bank of Nigeria.
On security, the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Abubakar Adamu, has assured that the police is equally ready in terms of personnel and logistics, while also providing equal protection for the electorates, polling units, INEC materials, and ad hoc staff. While warning against inducement and illegal possession of firearms, the IG says police officers attached to any dignitary will be withdrawn on election day. Stakeholders were advised to be tolerant and law-abiding before, during, and after the election. In Lokoja, Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Still staying in Kogi State, the 4th elected governor of the state, Yahaya Bello, upon assumption of office, identified insecurity as a huge concern in the state. Armed robbery and kidnapping were the 2 striking menace that was quickly tackled then. This menace is today believed by many to have become almost a thing of the past. Timothy Yusuf reports.
Security situation hitherto met by Governor Yahaya Bello was worrisome, as indigents and visitors alike were forced to reduce business hours and scope of operation. Proliferation of small arms and light weapons was the order of the day. Guns, rounds of live ammunition and other dangerous weapons were said to have been discovered in a forest between Kogi and Edo states. These discoveries underline the dangers of thick vegetation along the highways, coupled with security reports that criminals were using the state's thick vegetation as hideouts and ambush spots.
The overgrown weeds in between the road is what is the breeding ground.
Sometimes you may be passing, so far the road was very bush, you can see armed robber cross the road immediately.
So we sincerely do apologize for that sudden end to that story. But away from politics now, Nigeria is helping South Sudan with $300,000 in an effort to achieve peace and stability in the country, which millions of her citizens suffer from conflict and recently devastating flood disaster. Correspondent Usman Ali reports that a special envoy from Nigeria in Juba for the mission.
Hope is what Nigeria is assuring South Sudan, that it can overcome the challenges affecting the country. Nigeria's special envoy in Juba, led by Minister of Foreign Affairs Jeffrey Onyama, held talks with President Salva Kiir, explaining the position of Nigeria, not only in the ad hoc committee on South Sudan, known as C5 countries, but as a leader in Africa, guiding other nations to understand who they are.
I informed him that President Muhammadu Buhari was also giving some financial assistance to help with the process. We spoke about the boundary issues and how Nigeria was also helping in the process of finding an agreement and a consensus.
Nigeria has been playing a key role since the liberation struggle up to today.
A young country with ambition, but it was divided along ethnic and political interests. But people and leaders of South Sudan have now realized the need to be united, and that's what Nigerian government wanted South Sudan to be. A transitional unity government is now going to be formed in February 2020, after the second attempt was shifted, just like the first one, which could have been done in May this year. But this time, people of South Sudan and the international community are hoping that it's enough time for all factions to respect the peace deal. In Juba, South Sudan, Usman Aliyu, NTA News.
And back home, the goal of ensuring rapid rehabilitation and reconstruction in the Northeast region is once again on the front burner as the Northeast Development Commission is working out modalities in meeting the target. This was demonstrated with the roadmap plan presented to developmental partners for increased coordination in the Northeast region. Ruth Agwele tells us more.
The task of restoring normalcy in the Northeast region has been a priority for the federal government, with different intervention plans being executed. In this hall is the agency saddled with coordinating the rebuilding, reconstructing and reintegrating of displaced persons and communities, is engaging development partners to collectively get the job done.
Some of the states in that region, especially what they call a bear state, that is Borno, Adama, Yobe, need a special assistant. And through funding from the World Bank, the federal government donated $200 million to the city state to reduce the hardship. Which is why the NEDC felt it right to bring everybody together so that we take stock together while we are planning for the next half of the project, so that everybody now takes into account what we are planning for.
Early recovery and resettlement plan is part of the concern here through harmonized frameworks by matching words with action to achieve results. Now, this goal cannot be sustained if the fight against insurgency is not won. This visit by the Nigerian Army is to build strong partnership with the Commission in rebuilding some of the barracks and major roads affected by the insurgency in the Northeast.
And the insurgency in Northeast has led to the collapse of some of the available infrastructure in the region, which has impacted on our operations. It is therefore our hope that this Commission will critically look into the issue of the collapsed infrastructure in the region, especially road infrastructure.
And talking about these roads you are talking about, really indeed, I think this is one of our major problems. Construction. We must consider all these things.
A A ray of hope as the consensus here to restore the Northeast region is gaining momentum. In Abuja, Ruth Aguela, NTA News.
Nigeria's hope of attaining polio-free certification status is largely dependent on how soon people embrace the national campaign against open defecation. Now, that is part of the observations raised at the Interministerial Dialogue on Water Supply, Sanitation and Hygiene in Abuja. Musbao Danwahab reports.
We have a cross-cutting national assignment at hand, walking the talk of their principal.
To declare
President Buhari had acknowledged that the water, sanitation and hygiene wash sector is in crisis and gave the political will for a turnaround through the declaration of state of emergency in the sector. So, reality brought closer home as the Water Resources Minister was joined by his colleagues from Women Affairs as well as Works and Housing to appraise the situation. They clearly understand the relations between water and sanitation, but more pressing is how to stop the about 47 million people said to be practicing open defecation in Nigeria by 2025.
The most important thing is for us to understand that this open defecation is a terrible practice, it's a disgrace, and is even a dangerous practice for many people.
With other 9 federal ministries expected to pull their weight behind the Clean Nigeria Use the Toilet campaign, attention is also expected to ensure availability of toilets at public places.
We must put our heads together to intensify advocacy.
If we must win on a long-term basis, this must be the support system.
From the report of the Interministerial Technical Committee, the Ministry of Works and Housing is being encouraged to consider sanitation facilities in the construction of upcoming toll gates and other major highways without toll gates. In Abuja, Musbao Danwahab, NTA News.
You're watching NTA Network News. We now join Dotun in Lagos for the latest stories there. Dotun?
Thank you, Joseph, and welcome to Lagos. In compliance with the prohibition order the federal government placed on the importation of poultry products into the country, the Nigeria Customs Service, Murtala Mohammed International Airport Command, has destroyed contraband goods worth 60 million naira. Abolade Salami reports.
The resolve by the Nigerian Customs Service to ensure an effective service delivery and adequate monitoring of certified goods through the land and sea borders, as well as the airport, has been a bane to the activities of smugglers.
It's the beginning of what we are going to see more. This is the Christmas season we are approaching. You know, Nigerians will want to do more and will continue to seize them.
Not deterred by the heinous act, the Murtala Mohammed International Command intercepted 40 cartons of poultry products conveyed into the country through a South African airline, while another consignment of 104 cartons with total duty value of 68,850,000 were seized.
Our people still caught fish, and you can see that within some few hours that we have brought it, a good number of them have started changing color, which will suggest that not all of these are suitable for consumption by Nigeria. So the intention of the prohibition order is very simple. We can produce and source for all these resources in Nigeria, so there will be no point wasting our resources for them. And if they want to bring them through the airport, we will be waiting for them, we will catch them.
The seized poultry products were destroyed with a call on smugglers to desist from the act or always get their fingers burnt. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
Mainstreaming the maritime sector and the development plans of African countries is the focal point of discussion of experts from 15 West and Central African countries in Lagos. The two-day meeting is at the instance of the International Maritime Organization, ably supported by the United Nations Commission for Africa, UNECA. Paul Omukago has details.
The untapped resources from the seas and oceans of Africa, coupled with the fact that about 90% of international trade is transacted within the maritime domain, these experts say it's about time African leaders pay more attention to the sector. With a chapter in the African Union Agenda 2063 dedicated to the blue economy, Key players are advocating cooperation and a workable framework to unlock the inherent potential.
At the moment, if you look at many national development plans of African countries, you find that the maritime sector is not reflected, and yet the maritime sector contributes to 90% of international trade. When we bring all the stakeholders together, then they realize the importance of trying to ensure that the maritime sector is given the attention it requires right from the political leadership.
The IMO seized the initiative of helping nations mainstream maritime sector in their sustainable development goals and the economic plan of the various countries.
Accelerated development and other socio-economic activities the participants believe are possibilities that will open the continent to a global investment destination. In Lagos, Paul Mukago, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Lagos. Network News continues after this break. Do stay with us.
Hey, bro, what's up, man? Wait. Sure, son, I want device to carry.
Enjoy more data than before on Airtel Home Broadband. Get up to 160 gigabytes on routers with 25,000 naira and 55 gigabytes on Airtel MiFis with 12,000 naira. More data, more you. Reliable home broadband by Airtel, the smartphone network.
From our wonderful family, meet Smalley, our little one. He's always hanging out with friends. Packed with healthy nutrition, nourishing vitamins, power of protein, strength of calcium, revitalizing energy. Hollandia yogurt is bursting with goodness inside and out. Hollandia yogurt, it's all good. Hollandia.
This year, like every other year, for over a decade, we celebrate and reward African creatives around the world at the African Academy Awards ZAFA 2019 in Abuja, Nigeria. The second homecoming event is a 3-day gathering of industry stakeholders and enthusiasts to network as well as encourage and motivate budding talents. The movie screenings, exhibitions, and masterclasses will hold at the Silverbird Galleria on the 22nd to 23rd November 2019. The awards and gala night on the 24th of November 2019 at the prestigious Transcorp Hilton Hotel Abuja. For inquiries and sponsorship, advert placements, and tickets, call the following numbers on your screen now or visit www.zafa.org.
This is wonderful.
I'm super excited about this. Nothing is expected of them other than awesomeness.
ZAFA 2019. Come expecting the unexpected.
Everybody dance now. We are the strongest. No challenge can stop us so long.
Mother goodness, feel your greatness. Let's go.
This is NTN Network News and we are back in Abuja. Let's talk business now. And of course, you know that's Amina Nuja's beat and she's here. Hello, Amina.
That's right, Joseph.
Do your thing.
Thank you. The federal government's revenue from the non-oil sector has risen to 1.36 trillion naira. This information was contained in the Central Bank of Nigeria's report for the third quarter of 2019. Gross non-oil revenue, put at 1.36 trillion naira, rose above the quarterly budget of 1.34 trillion naira by 1.4%. It similarly rose above the level in the preceding quarter by 28%. The higher non-oil revenue relative to the quarterly budget was as a result of increased receipt from corporate taxes and improvements in the collection of Nigeria Customs Service. report said gross oil revenue at 1.34 trillion naira was below the quarterly budget at 44.6%, but was above the receipt in the preceding quarter by 9.9%. After the Eid al-Maulud celebrations holiday declared by the federal government, the Nigerian Stock Exchange has resumed and closed trading in the green. I beg your pardon. The OSHA index appreciated by 0.54% to close at 26,456.39 basis points, while market capitalization stood at 12.810 trillion naira. Year-to-date return stands at minus 15.83%. 378 million shares were traded, valued at 7.150 billion naira in 4,798 deals. The financial institutions of Zenith Bank, Access Bank, and Guarantee Trust Bank were the most active to boost market turnover. And that's about it from the business desk. Joseph, back to you.
Sorry about your hiccups there.
It happens sometimes.
Yeah, it sure does. All right, still on the economy, a two-day workshop aimed at developing Nigerian content procedures and strategies to improve the oil and gas sector is holding in Port Harcourt. The event is organized by the Nigerian Ajib Oil Company Limited and its joint venture partners for contractors. Osinachi Abraham has details.
The Regulatory Compliance Workshop on the Nigerian Oil and Gas Industry Content Development Act 2010 is one of the vendors' capacity building initiative of the Nigerian Ajib Oil Company Limited and her joint venture partners. Hence, the two-day workshop, according to organizers, is essential for contractors to ensure they understand and adhere to regulations and policies that apply to their operations in the sector.
I believe the scope of the act is to promote Nigerian companies and also for us to promote competition towards effectiveness.
And for me, I see the act as the pipe for all of you. I see it as an opportunity for Nigerian companies to grow.
If the government has also given its time, has created the environment, we have the responsibility seriously to get to understand what the act is all about.
For the joint venture partners, the program is to further reinforce their commitment towards developing and supporting the mission of the Nigerian Content Development Monitoring Board.
We are at Wando a testament to the success of Nigerian content as an indigenous company in partnership with an IOC.
Those pertinent issues that affect your operations, those gray areas, you can actually discuss together as a team and ask questions. We want you to really engage with the resource persons.
In Port Harcourt, Osinachi Abraham, NTA News.
Musa Abubakar is standing by in Sokoto with stories from that zone. Musa, it's good to see you.
Hello, Joseph, and welcome to Sokoto. Road users in Nigeria have been urged to avoid overspeeding, overloading, and use of expired tires to reduce traffic crashes on the nation's highways. This is coming as Federal Road Safety Corps commemorates the World Day for Remembrance of Victims of Road Traffic Crashes. Sheikh Mohammed Dati reports.
The World Day of Remembrance for Victims of Road Traffic Crashes was adopted by the United Nations on the 26th of October 2005. The week-long celebration of the day is aimed at highlighting the causes of traffic crashes and preventive measures. According to World Health Organization WHO, greater number of people are being disabled for life on world's roads through avoidable road traffic crashes. UCO Marshal Federal Road Safety Corps, Dr. Boboyo Oyemi's address, read by the head of operations, Federal Road Safety Corps Sokoto Command, Yusuf Aliyu Haruna Kiro, urged members of the public to show concern to the plight of the victims of road traffic crashes and their families.
So as we are doing it now, we sensitize public to make sure that they drive safely in such a way that accident will not happen to them.
People should not overspeed. Overspeed actually cause accident.
The theme for this year's World Day of Remembrance for Victims of Road Traffic Crashes is Life is Not a Car Part. In Sokoto, Sheikh Mohammed Dati, NTA News.
The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency in Massa has donated relief materials to IDPs in 5 local government areas in Zamfara State. The materials were distributed to the beneficiaries through the Zamfara State Management Agency. Salamatu Umar completes the report.
The assistance was aimed at alleviating the sufferings of people affected by bandit activities living at various internally displaced camps across the state. Some of the items distributed are bags of rice, maize, millet, and beans. Others are grinding machines, cooking oil, noodles, and beddings. Special advisor to the governor on emergency management, Major Aliu Maradu, said the materials are part of the assistance provided to the state by the National Maritime Administration. According to him, 5 local governments are to benefit from the gesture, namely Anka, Gumi, Bukwim, Maradum, and Gusau, and charged the beneficiaries to make best use of the assistance. Some beneficiaries expressed appreciation for the gesture and promised to use it judiciously. Each of the camps is to benefit from 5 bags of rice, maize, millet, beans, and beddings, among others. From Gusau, Salamatu Umar Abdullahi, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Sokoto. Joseph, is back to you.
Thank you, Musa. The 2019 Christmas Carol by NTA, Voice of Nigeria and FRCN is already a success in sight. This came up an outcome of a meeting between the local organizing committee of the Carol and the Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday reports.
Since about 25 years ago, the tribe have been jointly presenting Christmas Carol as part of their annual Thanksgiving to the Almighty God. Members of the committee are in the corporate headquarters of the NTA toward a successful outing of this year's edition of the Carol Nights. They tendered their request of taking advantage of the reach of the NTA to inform and invite the people to partake in the program.
If we allow us to now carry some of our programs and jingles with permission so that it can start any moment from now, so that the people that are ready to support us.
Hello, my sister, how are you doing?
I'm fine, sir. How are you, sir?
And remember we talked about this, our carol thing?
Yes, sir.
Christmas carol.
Yes, sir.
The Director General did not just give a nod to their requests, but went an extra mile to call one of the best classical musicians based in the United States to add colors to the day. All expenses paid. NTA has been scheduled to host the 2020 edition of the Carol.
To sing the song, see you, sir.
In another development, a special recognition was presented to the NTA for promoting the rights of Nigerian children by Infants Advocacy Initiative International. Ensuring all children enjoy same privilege is the mandate of the group. Ebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
Next up is Ibadan, and Kemi has this one.
Joseph, and welcome to Ibadan. Collaboration with relevant stakeholders will aid free flow of traffic and reduce crashes on major highways in Nigeria as the end of the year patrol operation picks up. Co-Marshal Federal Safety Commission Boboye Oyeyemi gave this indication during an official visit to Oyo State Command of the Commission. Dayo Gushola reports.
The Co-Marshal, who identified increased vehicular movement post-state of road in some areas as part of the factors responsible for crashes on the highways, said more attention will be given to the Lagos-Ibadan and Ife-Ibadan axis as the end of the year patrol operation begins. By applauding the federal government for addressing identified deficits in the area of road has been demonstrated on the Lagos-Ibadan expressway. Boboye Oyeyemi said collaboration with state traffic regulatory agencies and other concerned stakeholders will be increased.
The EU speed limiting device for commercial vehicles, those are the key issues. Once we can cut down the speed, because speed accounts for about 50% of our crashes presently, once we can cut down on speed, I think the problem is solved.
Meanwhile, at a courtesy visit to your state governor, the Co-Marshal sought state collaboration in the area of traffic management, especially addressing the menace of articulated vehicles and consistent gridlock at Iwuru Interchange. Governor Sheikh Makinde expressed firm support of the state in all the mentioned areas, with assurance that Nigerians will be happy with the state interventions. In Ibadan, Dayo Mushola, NTA News.
National Orientation Agency Oyo State has inaugurated a 3-day School Champions Club initiative to sensitize the public on necessary family values. Correspondent Omokende Igbari reports that the initiative is in line with goals of UNICEF for sustainable development and survival of children.
The students who swore to an oath to consistently sensitize their school's parents, siblings, and public on the issue of essential family hygienic practices. They cried open defecation and expressed support for exclusive breastfeeding.
I'm going to be able to tell others about what I learned in this place.
How to prevent people from deadly diseases like polio, measles, and so on.
Discussants laid emphasis on virtues for responsible citizenship.
So we are teaching them how to ensure that our families are in good health, how to make sure that our environments are clean.
What we want them to do is to use every forum, every platform to create awareness and sensitize and mobilize nursing mothers to comply and adopt essential family practices such as full immunization.
34 selected schools participated in the schools questionnaire program organized by NOAA Oyo State in Ibadan. Omokende Igbari, NTA News.
And that's it from Ibadan. More reports after this break with Joseph.
Milestones in Youth Employment and Social Support Operation, YESO, plus collaborative efforts of Kogi State Government in tackling insecurity. Tonight on NTA Tuesday Live. The program is at 10:30 p.m. with Those Who Should Know. Tuesday Live, incisive and informative. Don't miss it.
Let's quickly bring you sports now. Nigeria's Olympic Eagles Tuesday evening defeated their Zambian counterparts 3-1 at the Under-23 Africa Cup of Nations in Egypt to remain firmly in contention for a ticket. The Tokyo 2020 Olympics. Kenny Amabudike brings us more on sports update.